Alright, welcome back to another league race. This time we're with TMC, and this time we're here for round number 5 in Spain. Just getting straight to it. Run on the mediums, coming out of the final chicane. Dry qualifying, dry race, so I was happy enough with that. I wanted to do the softs, mediums, didn't want any part of the super softs. Come across the line, set in 18. It's an 18.9 on mediums, but I was kind of flickering it out of lean, and I was messing with the mixes of engine and ERS. Went for a second run, just literally layered this lap, and then put in the 18.3. So happy enough with that performance so far. It popped me into a temporary P7, and after that it was just a period of waiting, really, just waiting for the track to rubber in a bit and do one more run on soft compound tyres. So that was the plan, and here is that run now. We're going to do this 2 stages. This first one to kind of do medium and high, and then have enough as these tyres warm up, and then going for another run then the second lap then, and then hopefully that'd be the one to take me to the top. But I run wide here, lost a good bit of time, a lot of time, and then come through this turn 7 and turn 8. Yeah, there you go, I have turn 8, invalidated the lap. I thought, okay, let me save my ERS and such, and then have another run. But then second run, you're going to see it here, coming through turn 1, that's no problem. Turn 2, fine, actually very nice turn 2. And coming through turn 3 then, all looking pretty good so far, up 2 tenths already. So the 11.17s is definitely on. But coming out of turn 3, I just got myself on the throttle too early and just didn't get the car straightened out. Put a toe on the grass. That lost me a good chunk of time, and that kind of put my lap on the back foot after that. You can see I barely any time. I would continue with the lap. Eventually did improve, but only by 3 or so tenths in the end. So could have been a lot more, but it put me to P10. So I thought, okay, whatever. I'm doing the one stop anyways. You can see only a few guys doing the super softs, Cloudy Balloons, and Bugatti took pole. So there you go. That's what we're looking at. P10. Could be worse. A couple of guys at quality bands, and yeah. I think we're going to hop into some live commentary in a sec. Actually, we're going to do the setup first, choose our strategy, and just get ready to rumble. So as you can see, changing to one stop is what we want. Put up the fuel. I'm not sure why I left all this in, but yeah, basically didn't want to put too much fuel in the car, because the first stint I knew that tyres were going to be tough. The softs aren't a great tyre. Medium is a much better tyre, and just looking through the setup, take things down a bit. 410, 310 when you start the race. Pull up the wing as well. Another thing I was doing. So anyways, now we're going to go into some some live com. Oh, this is going to be great. You're going to love this.
You're going to be understeering, I think. Well, it's whatever. It's up to you.
I can move the bias forward a bit if I need to. Right, formation lap. Let's do rehearsal how we're going to get Cloudy off the line, shall we? Oh, there's no formation lap. What the fuck? Oh, I've been caught absolutely napping. Fuck, I've lost so many positions. Why wasn't there a formation lap? Fucking bollocks, man.
Say, Graham. You just see the formation that pop up. But listen, you know. I know what you mean, though. You'd be expecting it. Like.
That was absolute bollocks.
Pushing in.
Fuck my TV. Oh fuck! My teammate is into the back of me.
Okay, get your shit together.
After I unpaused. There's a lot to break down in that, and we'll get to that in a bit, but we're just going to continue with this battle with Raikkonen heading down into turn 10. Difficult start, obviously I had to just keep ploughing on. I'll explain all that in a sec, but we're actually going to get a nice little move around the outside of Raikkonen here through the sector 3 there. Boom, racing line, there you go, move up into P11 where I started. So basically what happened was I assumed there was a formation lap. There was no formation lap. Anthony, who was the host, forgot to put the formation lap on. I was absolutely caught out by this. Didn't get away at all. Only lost a few positions. My teammate, thankfully, was backing off me. Lap 2 here, what are we going on here? I think this is just me having an overtake, trying to get an overtake done on cloudy balloons, so that's what this is. So my teammate let me go kind of in that turn 1 or so, it didn't look to attack me, he was on mediums. Navigate the first few corners. If you get to turn 7 and 8, my TV, my flipping Samsung TV, every so often, every few hours, I can't find a setting to turn it off. I've tried. It pops up saying it's going to turn off in 60 seconds. So when that came up, I paused the game very quickly to try and press OK on my remote. As I'm going to let, I said in here, I'm going to let Medium Pilot go, and I'm going to let Wizzlig go. That's basically what's happening here, because I know they're not really in my race today. They're just too quick. So, anyways, I had to pause, press OK to get rid of that, unpause, and when I unpaused it, my teammate F1 Alonso, unfortunately, was just in the wrong place at the wrong time, and just, yeah, unfortunately, though it's completely my fault. I reached out to him straight after the race was over, and apologised, and he wasn't very confident around this track anyway. So again, I'm sorry to my teammate. I felt so bad afterwards. But just had to keep going. So, and then I knew nothing I could do to change it now, and just message him after the race. So that was difficult, but unfortunately, this kind of stuff happens. Anyways, lap 3 and lap 4, I let Wizzlig and Medium Pilot go. They are quicker than me today, so I'll let them go. Cloudy Balloons, I sneak up the inside here with the assistance of DRS. He goes off the track. I was afraid when he was going to rejoin it where he might be, but thankfully he didn't hit into me, and yeah, we move up into P10 then. So already in a points paying position by lap 4, but lots of work to be done still. Heading on to lap 5, Anthony is going to get by Cloudy Balloons. Anthony's on mediums, and Cloudy held up a good chunk of that lap. In front of me, Wizzlig, Medium Pilot, they're going to drive away from me. So I'm going to get into my own kind of race here with Anthony, basically, for this first stint, and that's a nice warning, so that's great. Head on to lap 7. There was 2.5 seconds or so between me and Anthony when he overtook. Cloudy is now 1.5, so Anthony had good pace. You can see my tyre is in a bad state. My left front, I was pushing early on in this stint to make up for the absolute atrocity of the start. And unfortunately, the tyre, these softs overheat quickly anyways, but not fantastic. Anyways, yellow flag here. Leclerc has had some sort of issue and just going very, very slowly, so nip by him soon. What was that for? Why did I leave this in? There's Leclerc, sorry, so Leclerc is now up ahead here, runs wide, has some sort of issue, and yeah, nipped through. My teammate was retiring there. That was what was going on there, that first turn 3. So, anyways, moving on there to lap 9. Anthony's caught within DRS, and this is going to be his first attempt. Lap 10, I can pull over to the right. He's going to have the DRS slipstream, the overtake mode. I'm sure I'll move back over a bit, leaving just enough room. And look, Anthony's a very clean driver. He's not going to dive bomb anyone. That isn't really on. So. Anyways, we're in P8. What I actually forgot to put in was Afri Frisch, or RL Ocon, crashed out after turn 9, so I forgot that bit. But anyways, that's where we're up extra position. Anthony again, he's going to go for a move down the inside, or sorry, around the outside. I'm covering the inside again. I do come across him slightly there, and I was like, I wish I'd done that better, but he's still behind, he still has his wing. You can see our tyres just absolutely so punished. I'm really struggling now at this stage of the race. The medium's definitely the better tyre to be on. And Anthony's just got that bit more pace than me today here. He's trying to fight around the outside on the racing line, which goes the inside then for turn 5. I covered the line and still able to keep carrying on, but not for much longer though. Lap 13, he's right behind me, and this is the lap I'm coming into the pits. Put the mediums on to the end, and we'll see where we go from there. So that was my first stint, was basically with Anthony. After my tough start. So anyways, I expected him to be around me when this race ended, so let's see how it goes though. He's very fit on the medium tyre, so it looks like we're still going to emerge in the points paying position. As we come out of the pits now, there is RL Leclerc. RW is also just pitted as well, so important to keep him in mind as well. So, and then coming out of here, there's some sort of issue for someone. There's a yellow flag, and you'll see other problems crop up now later in this lap as well. But there you go, we emerge in front of Leclerc. Same lap, lap 14, Arl Hulkenberg's had some sort of problem, I don't know, with a wing or something. He was going very, very slowly, so I had to take it very slow. And I got off on the curb a bit there, but was preparing myself for an overtake. But also Leclerc is right behind me as well on, 4 lap older medium, so he's got his firmly up to temperature. And he's very, very close to me, so he's got the DRS open. And I'm thinking, this isn't good. So I pull over to the right and attempt to try and prevent him coming through. And I managed to do so on this occasion, managed to keep him behind me for P9, or for P8 rather, so, because that's what we're in, we're fighting for this P8. To keep it up ahead, I'm never going to see to keep it again, up ahead. I got a penalty there, lap 15, just too much up in that curve. I lifted off the throttle slightly, and I thought that may have been enough for the game to leave it, but wasn't the case. Lap 16, Leclerc is close. I'm streaky. You see, I've not got a ton of fuel. So, do I have a ton to fight with? Not really. I go defensive early, but Leclerc is going to fly by, and I can't even fight this into turn 1. I did try, excuse me, but to no avail. So this phase of the race, then, I spent a good couple of laps here behind Leclerc, and I'm going to sector 3 and some other parts of the track. I'm going to go in lean to recover a bit more fuel and then see where we're at. If he drives away from me, fine. But that's where we were at this phase of the race. And RW then is he's 3 seconds behind, I think. So, or 6 seconds rather. So, had a nice gap to RW then in 10th, who actually jumped the start and had a drive-through penalty. So, that was an important part of this race. He, as well as me and some others, were caught out by the lack of formation lap. New guy, BVB, acronym for Borussia Dortmund, of course. He binned it, same kind of place where Afri Frisch did as well. So that's me up at the P8 then. And with Anthony to pit as well, I knew I'd move up to P7. So, but we're actually getting quite close for Leclerc for this temporary P7. This would become P6. So I was actually a good bit behind here, but you can see he gets a bit of a wiggle. Does Leclerc, and I knew it straight away that this is a good opportunity for me to get by. So difficult run out of this onto this long back straight. And like he goes defensive, like no, I'm going up the inside. Look, that right there, I'm not too sure what you attribute that to. Do you attribute to him not leaving the space on the right hand side, or is that my fault for choosing to continue to go on the right when there's plenty of space on the left? Look, whatever it was, could have ended a lot worse than it actually did. But you can see lap 20, lap 21, Leclerc's tyres are beginning to go off a bit, and I'm going to try go down the inside again. So I move over a little bit as well. I move over a little bit, I should say. Kind of was like, that's kind of our last lap as well, for where I was on the grass again. That was just how I felt in that moment. But now Anthony has pitted, we're in P6, lap 22. So basically next lap, Leclerc is going to come back at me. I'd go defensive. He's going to drive around the outside. He did make contact there. Did actually make contact, but thankfully I was okay. I think he was okay as well. Somehow didn't damage his wing, but he moves back up into P6. RW is still around, 5 or so seconds behind, and I'm like, I don't really want to be here because I've got a penalty and I don't want to be losing too much time squabbling. You can see that yellow dot of Anthony as well, catching as well. He's on soft compound tyres and going quickly as well. Lap 24, Leclerc pops into the pits, so he did make a second stop, and this releases me into P6. I was like, happy days. But I knew Anthony was coming, and he was quite close to Leclerc as well, or sorry, RW, and I knew he was going to get by, and I knew I had to bridge a 3-second gap. So lap 26 head to 27, he did clear that. He did clear RW, and he's bringing down the gap now. It was over 3 or so seconds. He's now 2.9, and in the subsequent laps, he is going to continue to close that gap. So my only hope was to hope that he had a penalty. See 2.4, but Anthony doesn't really get penalties, so all I could do was just keep him behind me on track, and hopefully he pushed hard enough to try and get to me that he would get a penalty. Lap 30, 1.9 seconds. He continued to bring this down. It got to 1.2 at one stage, and then it actually went back up again a bit. So, and then lap 33, the final lap then, this lap he closed a lot on me. A lot. He got it in the DRS range for the first time since he was behind me on the mediums. Last few corners, difficult to overtake. And I'm going to keep the position. you call up a lot. I was using a lot of fuel. Well, no, sorry. I used up a lot of my ERS, a lot of fuel near the end. I'm going to finish P6 on the track, but the penalty is going to relegate me to P7. RW thankfully had a penalty at P8. So look, P7, I'll definitely take it. Difficult race, difficult start. That's going to do it for number 5 of Spain. Next up is Monaco. Dear God, help us all.
Thing is now what?